the economics of creativity is becoming way more apparent, way more of a thing we have to understand. So Kendrick and Dave Free start PgLang. Cole and them start their production company out on the East Coast. Tyler Perry opens his film studio. Issa Rae's opening her studio. Kev on Stage is opening his studio. Lena Waithe and her partners have opened up Hillman Grad. All these black creatives are going, nah, fuck that. Robert Townsend has been doing it forever. A lot of black creatives have been doing it forever. So the ones that I didn't name, don't think I'm just like not fucking with you. It's just like, it's just really dope to highlight the current ones that are thinking from an infrastructure standpoint as a means to sustain it. And we'll talk about Dallas Austin on 85 South show too, because he sort of talks about how Atlanta built an infrastructure for the industry as opposed to just being artists. G, you had the PgLang Calvin Klein commercials. It's what art should be. It's corporate. Calvin Klein's one of the biggest companies. Them and Tommy have the same distributor, whether people know that or not. But they've completely relinquished the creative to PgLang as not just the hired contracted talent. They've hired them as a creative agency to go, do your thing.
And looking at them things, I feel like that changes the entire brand.
Yep.
Like it brings them into today, which is fucking interesting to even talk about with Calvin Klein. But them things was super fucking impressive, bro. Like I have nothing else to say but how impressive that those things are shot.
Yep.
It feels like videos the entire time, but like
Yep.
it's great. You know, like it's flawless in a way for me. And it was interesting to see like the different creatives that have lent their talent to it. Like, is it also kind of like a Rock Nation type deal, or is it just like individuals?
It's like
streamlining. Like are they just connecting the individuals to the product or whatever?
Slightly
or
different.
Are they a part of PgLang?
Slightly different. Where PgLang is a house for creatives, they do have artists, Baby Keem, Brent, like
that's a hell of a lineup already.
Already, and then there's people that are not naming. But
and what's the name from Europe? Jordan.
Okay.
Jordan. What's her name? Jordan something.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. Great singer.
But what is
the one that Drake was singing about?
What is attempted to be done is, so what happened? So let's pull back the curtain a little bit. So Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, Adidas, brands, right? They have an allocated budget for a project. They go hire a creative Jordan Smith. They go hire a creative agency. Jordan Smith or Georgia Smith?
Georgia Smith.
Georgia Smith. They hire a creative agency. Usually, those creative agencies are headed by white men and women, for the most part. And these brands, in the more recent years, have gotten a little bit more aware of their demo and who they need to engage with. Not necessarily sell to, but activate in order to be able to sell. It's a difference. And what has happened is that these agencies have been able to contract a Kendrick to come curate the soundtrack for Black Panther. Or you could just hire my production company that I just started, and we can see it through from beginning to end, and we don't have to take a percentage that the agency is going to kick us back when the agency gets the whole budget. Oh, so that the agency is hiring me, or I could just start my own agency, and y'all could just hire us direct as opposed to having to have this middleman.
Unteach Productions.
So, I think
most fire videos.
See what I'm saying? But it is a true. It's the equivalent of the tigers who normally occupy the rainforest of Mexico being spotted in parts of fucking America now. Where it's like, wait, what are they doing? It's like the rainforests in Mexico are being burned. Ain't really no food. It ain't the most conducive habitat. We're gonna head north. We're gonna reproduce and figure this shit out. We're going to adapt. We're going as artists. We seen what y'all did to rock and roll. We see what y'all did to jazz. Seen what y'all did to R&B music. We can't allow this to happen. And I don't know how much of conversation has been had where there's unity and like collaboration, but fuck, man. Shout out to Issa for putting hella people on. Shout out to TDE for putting hella people on. Shout out to Cole and Dreamville for putting mad people on. Tyler Perry put mad people in the game. It's black folks that's giving up the game as far as like building infrastructure, building industry in your respective regions, and going fuck having to move to LA. Fuck having to move to New York. Fuck having to move to Nashville. You can do it in Atlanta. You can do it from the Bay. You can do it from wherever you are.
Wyoming.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. It's just really something to be said for building industry. Dallas Austin was on the 85 South show and spoke at length about his rise, him, Jermaine Dupri, and their connection and their connection to Organized Noise and working in the same studios and testing their songs at the skating rings. And it's just like, oh, every time he said something, I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
I met him last year, or 2 years ago, at A3C. And he's like taking questions. And as a fan of him and Dre specifically, their early work, you can hear how much they were influenced by the Bomb Squad. And so I just like, yo, talking influences, like, was it Dre or Bomb Squad for you? And he was like, how you know that? It's like, just as a fan, you can hear what the Bomb Squad attempted to do with Public Enemy was just like they took all these dope ass samples, all these James Brown breaks and these different Bob James breaks, and just mashed them shits together. Sometimes they wouldn't even be in the same key, for crying out loud, but they worked. Where Dre and Dallas showed up, they're doing the same shit, but at the very least they're making it fit, or they're having session players come replay it to where it felt like something. And it's just really, really, really dope to hear him talk about getting fucked out of his first deal, essentially, and making sure that never happened again, and that it didn't happen to other artists. And I don't know. I just thought it was a really, really dope conversation. And shout out Los and Clayton English. We talked about, was that last week? We talked about Clayton being one of the funniest motherfuckers. Like,
yes.
G, did you watch this week's episode?
Nah, I missed it.
Oh my God, them two left together because I think for where Carlos and DC make up and for like physical comedy to keep up with Los, Clayton intellectually might be fucking with Los. Honestly, he might. So it makes Los works harder and be funny.
Completely.
So watching Los be funny from beginning to end, because he's competing with Clayton. Because Clayton don't take no jokes off
At all.
and you like, bro, this shit is hilarious. Like it's, and in Dallas was hella funny.
Yeah,
That's
then
what
Dallas
that's what
couldn't
made
stop
it,
laughing at times.
That's what made it tight, because his jokes were actually landing too, and I was like, oh, this is fucking epic. But it's just dope watching black folks talk history, talk current history. Dallas get his flowers. Him then give his flowers to Clayton and Los in 85 South as an entity. This was really dope dynamic. Did you have anything specific from that conversation that you wanted to highlight?
One of the things that I want to highlight, because it kind of, for me, connects back to the Reef, was him talking about his studio.
Yeah.
And he was like, we got Short in one room. We got George Clinton.
George Clinton in another room. Eric Sermon.
Yeah, Eric Sermon. He's
Yeah.
like talking about how, like, I made the studio and made it so people could come here and collaborate. hear what the other person's doing so they can raise their shit up.
Yeah.
And, everybody can feed off of each other.
Yeah.
And when he was talking, the only thing I pictured was what you do here with the Reef.
Yeah. Nah, man, that means a lot. Because lately, with the pandemic, not being able to perform and go earn money in other ways, it's been like, yo, well, make the studio. It's the studio. Start having clients. It's like, dog, like that's not what the shit was built for. Like it was built because I know in a ridiculous amount of talented people that don't have a consistent space to sort of meet up, trade ideas, play your music, get info, come collab, whatever that is, and again investing in IP, right? So yeah, nigga, we could Joe Schmo off the street that has a budget, but I tried that shit, man. Niggas is trash for real. Like I'm not. That's not even being like trying to be like funny or anything. It's like no, niggas really suck at making music and think they're dope, and because they got budgets, and some of the nicest cats don't have no budget. Not right now because it's not the way it's set up. The Bay Area doesn't have an industry or any way to insulate talented people. So let's be that. Let's invest in the future and see what the fuck happens. And everybody loves the Grand National shit. Season 1 was recorded at SK. SK was a part of that process, so the studio time setup was different. He was like, yo, y'all come record, I believe in y'all. Salute to SK at Slapwagon and putting that play together. And it was like, damn, man, SK really looked out and we put together something special. And off of that, the Reef was done by then, so BTS was done here. Like it's just really dope to see how much B. Simmons got fired. Like So Many Jane's new album sounds fucking insane. Deuce's record sounds crazy. Like so much of the new music is being made in between these two studios where it's just people who care about talented people finally having a consistent space to develop and to build. Kariga, Reeg's new shit sounds nuts. Like it's just people just constantly working. So thank you for saying that, Lex, because I was watching that going, I didn't even make the connection to the Reef. I was just like, I just been having these moments where in the middle of the night somebody will call for something and I'll be able to just roll out the bed, drive back downtown at 3 a.m. and come do what I need to do. And instead of being annoyed that I had to do it, being fucking grateful that I could come to a space, edit, get some work done, and not have it be held up by, oh man, I can't let you into this, how much you need to, nah, this is my shit. Yeah. This is our shit. We could do whatever the fuck we want in terms of like making sure our stories are told the way we want them to be and that we're represented the way we want the Bay to be represented. And I'm proud to say that shit it's having an impact. There is a shift. Quality is through the roof.